Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you my 5 favorite tips on how to make professional sounding vocal chops. So let's just get into it. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys the first tip I've got for making the vocal chops, and that's all starting with splicing up the vocal into the actual chops that we're going to use. In your audio editor, zoom in real close, grab your razor tool, whatever DAW you're in. So then you're going to want to go to each phrase that you can see in the waveform, and you're going to want to just chop around each, little lump in the waveform. All right, just like that. And then this is the most important part, is you're going to want to not be in grid locked mode. And then you're going to want to listen to each chop individually here. We're trying just to pick out the vowel sounds, so not any of that sibilance of any sort. We just want that vowel tone. Okay. So we're going to cut out the start of that O. Okay. So then we're going to take this one here too, do the same thing. Cut out the G in God. Same thing at the start of I. And then the N in need, and so on and so forth. Do that on your vocal until you have enough chops. I always recommend doing the catchiest part of your song, because that will make for the catchiest chops. You may want to keep a bunch of different melodic variants together. For example, like here. Because of that nice glide. Or like that there. You could choose to chop the 2 notes in satisfied, but you can also leave them. So that's up to personal preference and creativity. I have already exported my chops here. Drag those into a sampler. If you're in Reason, then you're going to want to add in your NNXT sampler. You're going to want to add in that. Reset the device. And you're going to want to go to your samples. Take all your samples. Throw them into your sampler. And then right click and hit this button, Auto Map Zones Chromatically. That will separate all your samples for you, and you'll be ready to play around. All right, so that is the first method of how to do your vocal chops. The second method is just for Reason users. It's using the Mimic creative samplers. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your vocal, add in a Mimic sampler here, and then we're just going to drag it in. Perfect. So we have our chorus of the song dragged in here, the acapella. Now what we're going to want to do is set our markers to the section that we want to chop up, which is this one right here. And then what you want to do is hit slice and then decrease the sensitivity until you're at a point where you have enough chops. It's going to take some messing around before you can get it. Once you have picked the sensitivity that you're happy with, the thing I find with doing this in Mimic is that it can just cause a lot of extra sibilance and gaps and just awkward spaces that you don't want. However, if you're doing maybe a lo-fi track where you're just pitching it up and adding some reverb on it, no one's going to care. It makes it way faster. So it can be a cool trick to use, but only when it actually sounds right. A lot of the time, doing it the long and hard way in the audio editor is worth it. So the first thing that's really important when it comes to vocal chops is distortion and how you use it. I'm going to start off with what I did originally on this chop. I used some fuzz distortion here on Scream 4. So I was bringing in a little distortion. See what it's all the way up. It's really intense. We're also controlling it a lot because we have a bunch of compression on the chain later down. But yeah, that's giving it a little bit more high end, and it's also giving it a ton of body and tone. Then we're saturating it a ton. See how much more weak that sounds? A lot more power there. And then most of this is coming actually from here. So this cracked preset, this transform knob, you can make it sound, have a lot more high end roll off. Like that, and very wide. To much more centered with the mids, and have the highs wider. So here I've got my Neptune pitch adjuster and voice synth all ready to go. Almost any DAW will have one of these. You can also get one on Waves. There's a FORMANT pitch plugin that you can use, and you can automate it as well. So basically what you're going to want to do, create the automation track for your FORMANT shift. FORMANT shift basically just adjusts the tone up or down, but it doesn't actually change the pitch. So it can create really cool movement and keep your vocal chops interesting. So right here I have my FORMANT automation, but I'll just show you guys what it sounds like if it's all the way up. And then all the way down. Put this before your distortion, and then you can kind of mess around with the FORMANT pitch in the automation. For this song, it's a very easy listening pop tune, so I wanted to keep the FORMANT pitch automation subtle. Basically just try and give it some movement. You can hear it going up here. But you know, if you want to make it something more harsh, you know, you can go like all the way up here, for example, and then go like right down. So that would be an example of something more harsh sounding and more noticeable. But this way, if you do it a little bit, use it selectively, it can create really nice movement and keep things from getting boring in your vocal chops. What you're going to want to do is get an OTT, open it up here. If you got it all the way, and this is with any compressor, so if your attack and release is very short, it's not going to allow it to sound very aggressive and have a lot of bite. It's just going to sound squashed. Attack and release is all the way at the end, then it's going to not have any bite at all, and it's not even going to sound compressed at all. So you want to find that nice balance. Usually, if you have it around here, it's basically going to start compressing a little after the attack. So you get a nice punchy chop, but then it doesn't sustain it too much because it's going to be compressing it later. After that, I added 2 EQs here. This one notch around 230K is giving us a bit of tone. Same with this one here, it's giving us some body. The rest of these are dynamic compression, essentially taking away those harsh frequencies. You can see I was taking out those harsh frequencies there. Then I just add some fresh air to add a little more high end, and then just do the reverb. And yeah, that's pretty much the processing for the chops.